The winter sun hung low over Mirror Lake, a pale, weak disk barely warming the frost-kissed air. My wife, Clara, stood alone on the rickety community dock, her hand resting gently on the curve of her 7-month pregnancy. She was a VY shown of quiet strength, her scarf fluttering in the breeze, a faint smile breaking through the gray gloom of the season. I watched her from our scruffy backyard, a cooling mug of coffee in my hand, savoring the rare moment of peace. Our little fixer-upper, with its wild garden and VYEW of the lake, was supposed to be our Havana place to raise our daughter, already named Rose. But in a heartbeat, that dream shattered. Clara was gone, swallowed by the icy water with a sickening gulp, the lake's surface closing over her like a trap. No scream, just a strangled gasp, stolen by the cold. And then, a sound that froze my blood, a laugh. Margaret Holt's laugh, sharp and cruel, slicing through the silence like a blade. It wasn't just amusement, it was triumph, a venomous cackle that seemed to poison the air. Maybe now you'll learn to respect the rules, dear. Margaret's voice rang out, honed to a VY sighous edge, dripping with months of pent-up malice. My world collapsed. My heart pounded, a caged animal clawing at my ribs. I stood paralyzed, the coffee mug slipping from my numb fingers, shattering on the frozen ground. Clara, my Clara, carrying our Rose, was fighting for her life in that frigid abyss. And Margaret Holt, the self-proclaimed queen of Pinewood Estates Homeowners Association, stood on the dock, smirking like some twisted VY lane from a nightmare. 50 yards separated use and eternity. My legs screamed to move, but for one agonizing second I was rooted disbelief choking me. This couldn't be real. Then, Clara's face broke the surface, chalk white, her eyes wide with primal fear, pleading silently before the water dragged her under again. That snapped me free. A roar tore from my throat, raw and guttural. As I sprinted, my jacket flung aside. Clara, hold on. I'm coming. Margaret's head whipped toward me, her smugness flickering with annoyance, as if I were ruining her moment. She didn't know me really. To her, I was just Nathan Carter, the quiet guy in faded jeans, married to that troublesome pregnant woman who dared to let her hedges grow a half-inch too long. I hit the dock running, boots pounding the warped planks, and without a thought I dove. The cold was a sledgehammer, stealing my breath, the murky water a disorienting void. My lungs burned, panic clawing at me, but I flailed until my hand grazed Clara's coat. I grabbed her, kicking desperately toward the surface, her weight dragging us both down. We broke through, Clara gasping, coughing, her eyes mirroring my terror. Nathan, the baby, she choked, clinging to me. I've got you both, I rasped, swimming for the dock, every stroke a battle against the numbing cold. Margaret stood there, arms crossed, her face a mask of fury and shock fury that her plan was unraveling, shocked that I'd dared intervene. Get away, you fool, she shrieked as I hauled Clara onto the planks. She deserved it. She's a blight. Clara shivered violently, her lips blue, but she was alive. I wrapped my soaked jacket around her, fumbling to check her pulse, my hands trembling. Then, I reached into my pocket, pulling out a waterlogged notebook LVY in Prescott's ledger, the old HOA treasurer's secret weapon. Before you go on, Margaret, I said, my voice flat as the lake, holding up the stained pages. Care to explain Prescott's notes on your Lakeside Renewal Fund? Or these invoices from Holt Landscaping, signed by you? Margaret's tirade died in her throat. Her eyes locked on the ledger, confusion GIVYing way to horror. That's nonsense, she stammered. Prescott was a senile liar. Was he? I pressed, calm but deadly. Or did he ask too many questions? Like Rachel and Tom Weaver, who found your emails about discretionary funds siphoned from lake maintenance. Her face drained of color, her arrogance crumbling into panic. You can't. This is my community, she spluttered. I reached into my dry undershirt, pulling out my badge, the dull metal glinting in the winter light. I'm Lieutenant Nathan Carter, Sheriff's Office Dive Team Leader. And you, Margaret Holt, are under arrest for aggravated assault, attempted murder, and pending re-VYEW of this EVY Denke, embezzlement and fraud. Her transformation was instant from tyrant to a babbling, terrified shell. She slipped. "I try to help," she cried. "I saw you push her," I said coldly. "And I heard you laugh." I dialed 911, my voice steady, requesting paramedics for Clara and patrol units for Margaret, now detained for attempted homicide. Sirens wailed, a beautiful sound cutting through the chaos. Neighbors gathered, their faces a mix of shock and dawning relief as paramedics bundled Clara into blankets, confirming Rose's heartbeat was strong. Margaret, cuffed and led away, was a fallen queen. Her reign ended in front of the community she'd terrorized. The hospital kept Clara for 2 nights, but Rose was unharmed, a miracle. Clara's trauma lingered, the memory of Margaret's laugh haunting her, but she found strength, whispering, "She didn't break me, Nathan." Pinewood reeled. Stories of Margaret's bullying and financial schemes poured out, fueled by Prescott's ledger and the Weaver's emails. She was convicted of attempted murder, assault, and felony fraud, her lakefront mansion seized. The HOA board collapsed down, replaced by honest residents like old Mr. Hawthorne and Rachel Weaver, who rebuilt trust. Clara started a community garden, her smile returning as neighbors worked side by side. 3 months later, Rose Dawn was born, our symbol of resilience. We stayed, refusing to let Margaret win. At the Pinewood Renewal Festival, lanterns floated on the lake, their glow reflecting in Clara's eyes as she held Rose. The laughter now was real kids playing, neighbors sharing stories, a community reborn. But here's where it gets messy. Was Margaret just a power-hungry bully, or was there something darker driving her? Should Clara and Nathan have fought harder against the HOA from the start? Or was compliance their only option? And what about the neighbors who stayed silent? Were they complicit or just scared? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if this story got your blood pumping, and subscribe for more tales that'll make you question everything. What would you have done in their shoes? Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video.